as a leader or a potential leader, you need to make sure that you have the support to be the best that you can in terms of leading your team, but in terms of your own confidence.
As a personal branding speaker, how do you help audiences to develop their brand?
So for me, it's really important that we think about how the audience gets actionable information from a talk. So I always like to go in with clarity over what steps they need to take to improve their personal brand, but also aligned with what their goals are. So I always say to the audience, okay, what is your vision for the future? What do you want to do in your career or in your business? And how do we have clarity over how we showcase who you are to your audience? So for me, personal branding is always about how you look at your personal brand and the culture of the organization and how those two things link. So how do we showcase who you are, but also what value you bring to your key stakeholders and to the organization as a whole? So with personal branding sessions, typically they are interactive workshops or talks, and we cover 4 key areas. So it might be presentation, approach, communication and knowledge, looking at things like their LinkedIn profile, how they show up online, how they interact face to face, how they communicate using vocal, visual and verbal communication. So really all of the different cues that helps to feed into an indelible personal brand, one that really makes a positive and lasting impression.
What does the term intrapreneurial mean to you, and why is it important in business?
So I am an entrepreneur, which means that I have my own businesses. But prior to being an entrepreneur, I utilized my entrepreneurial spirit within an organization. And so I'm a big advocate for people who work in an organization, understanding how to really think about themselves as an entrepreneur, as the CEO of their project or of their career. So it means them thinking about their entrepreneurial mindset, but within the context of being internal in an organization. So thinking, how do I add value? How do I innovate? How do I look at a problem that exists and not thinking, oh, that's a problem someone else should sort, but actually thinking, this is a problem that I have the opportunity to be part of the solution or the solution. And by engaging that entrepreneurial mindset, you are now more focused on the solutions, but also on adding value to an organization. And in turn, that of course will impact your personal brand because you're seen as that go-to person, that person who is always thinking innovatively about the future of the organization as well as the future of their career.
You talk about high impact leadership. What is your top tip for businesses wanting to improve leadership in their workplace?
The top tip for organizations wanting to improve leadership in their workplace really is to make sure the leaders have the right support. And what I mean by that is, as a leader or a potential leader, you need to make sure that you have the support to be the best that you can in terms of leading your team, but in terms of your own confidence. So often, people who have leadership potential don't realize that they have the potential because they don't feel confident in that role or in that position. So I often work with individuals and groups to help them to really optimize the opportunities they have to fulfill their potential, but also to look at leadership strategy so that they can build the culture of their team to make it work for them.
What do you hope audiences take away from your public speeches?
Oh, what do I hope audiences take away from my public speeches? I want them to feel inspired, motivated, but also clear about the actions they can take. For me, the perfect blend of a speech is to be able to share with your audience your own story, but also impart knowledge throughout that story. So I like to share my story, but also give hints and tips as to what steps the audience can take to activate their story. So when I share my journey, which I kind of call dreams to reality, I'm talking about how I've made my dreams a reality, but I also like to leave my audience with clarity over how they can take steps to make their dreams a reality. And I like to articulate the fact that no journey is a smooth one. There are ups, there are downs, there are obstacles. And I think it's about embracing those obstacles and seeing how you get through them and how you use them to just really push yourself forward. So my ideal for an audience is that they will enjoy the talk, they'll see some humor, but I'll also take them on that roller coaster of the journey whilst inspiring them that they can do the same for themselves, whatever their version of success is.